Hey friends, it's the Circle of Hope Pastors. We're doing our video cast. Someone asked. We try to take questions that people actually ask us and answer them. And this great thing happened to me. I was hanging out with my friends in South Jersey on Sunday night at their Sunday meeting, and it really is like a hangout. You should check it out sometime. And they were asking me questions. Pat was interviewing me, and one of the questions was, why did you become a pastor? Something to that extent. So I figured I'd throw it out to my favorite pastors here, see what they had to say.
I would have to say, Johnny, because God called me, and our community called me. It wasn't really my idea to begin with, but I said yes because I realized that what made me the most excited about life was seeing people get connected to Jesus. So yeah. That's why I'm a pastor.
My story's similar. It might not look like it, but Rachel and I are pretty similar in this way, because I similarly received a calling and kind of submitted myself to a process. Joshua, I was probably like 24 years old, asked me to be a part of an apprentice pastor process in Circle of Hope, because the congregation at Frankfurt Ave was about to multiply and they needed a pastor. And so me and two others joined a discernment process to think about who might do it next, who might be the next pastor. I was called out to do it, and I followed the call. I never had aspirations to be a pastor, but I in hindsight, wanted to submit myself to the process and move with the community. And I'm grateful that my life isn't just a matter of my own choices in this political economy, that I'm following something bigger. So that's I'm encouraged by that very option in my life.
I love how we do the discernment pastor process often in different ways, but I got to participate in one when I was a lot younger while I was in seminary. But I felt called to be a pastor even earlier when I was like 20 years old, living in Mexico. It was kind of like a confession. Okay, fine. I think I might be a pastor.
You resigned yourself to it, huh?
Yeah, that's how it was when I wrote it in my journal. But what I really loved was being the church and the life of the church, and I wanted to find a way to do that with my vocation and avocation, my professional life and personal life being kind of integrated, because I'm just an extremist, you know. You were saying earlier, Johnny, that I live out the Lay's potato chip ad campaign. Can't just eat just one chip, and that's true about me.
You must eat the whole bag.
I have to eat the whole bag. So
when you're eating Oreos, do you jump over the row? You eat the whole sleeve and then you go on the other one, right?
Yeah. Well, you can just get it with your fingers. You can get a whole lot.
Sleeve. Good strategy. Sorry.
Okay. Yes. I need to control my dietary choices, but that passion is deep in me, and so I'm eating the whole bag when I get to be the pastor. It's a great privilege. It doesn't ruin my body. It actually makes me an incredibly more full version of myself to take on this challenge. And I actually did aspire to do it from the time I was a young man, and glad I have the opportunity to do it now.
And you only have to work one day a week, which is
Hey, wait, am I getting paid for this right now?
Why does anybody say that?
Well, I think there's a lot of reasons, because it is kind of like that for a lot of pastors, or it's like about, you know, you hold this position and you sort of convene and manage, and you are kind of like the country parson hanging out near the courthouse and bringing order to stuff.
Yeah.
Who work one day a week? I don't know. I've heard people say the reason I'm a pastor is so I don't have to get a job, and that one actually is kind of true. I mean, I'm glad I don't think of it like a job particularly. I think how I got into it at this point would be different than maybe why I do it now, but I didn't have I appreciate these stories about this sort of clear sense of call from God. I didn't experience that. I had ideas. I had people giving me some feedback or calling me into a process, but really, I think what excites me is that I get to participate in so much mending of the soul, get to form community. I get to act out of the things that I hold, my most deeply held convictions, and go after what would be like a realized sense of integration and integrity. I get to sort of approach that or try to do it every day in an intense way. And I don't have the same limitations that some of my friends do working, for corporate jobs, or like working at the EPA with the climate change denier as the director, like I don't have those kinds of, major problems. I get to do it. And people try to encourage me. It's great.
Well, Josh,
good answer. Yeah.
Josh always gives the best answers. So we'll end it there. No one's going to top that. Thanks for doing this. Thanks for listening, participating as much as I did. What are you going to say, Ben?
Just for the record, I agree with all the things Joshua said too. That's my answer too.
Rachel, do you too?
I do too, but I want to add that it's pastoring is a verb. It is a doing. So I'm glad he talked about that workflow thing. And in response to your story, Johnny, I think it was really a recognition of what you were already doing. And I like how our community works that way, that leaders are called out because they're already leading.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, now you can end it.
Now I can end it?
Yeah.
Well, thanks for watching a little extra there, too. If you liked it, share it, show it to your friends, send it to your grandma. I'm sure she'll love Ben. Glad we're doing this together. See you next time.